It has been an exceedingly long time since I have done one of these videos at Truth. It's coming up on a year since I had my first, I don't know, cosmic experience, whatever the hell you want to call it. And man, it's been a while since I've really had my fucking mind blown. But yeah, I gotta say today qualifies. Today definitely qualifies. So, you can presume that I'm under the influence of some combination of things that make me feel different than if I just woke up on any given day. Take that as whatever you want. And I walk in and I just didn't think about anything getting there. I was not expecting to see anybody, but I walk in and there's Julie, who I haven't seen in some time and who I haven't really had a lot of time to talk to in months. And it was just so awesome to see her, and got a great hug, and we were chatting for a minute, and I don't remember exactly what was said by me. Actually, I don't really remember any of the conversation leading up to it, if I'm being completely honest. But I do, and will for the rest of my life, remember when she was backing away because she had a client waiting. She said to me that I tell her how much this place has been a gift to me and changed my life, etc., but that I am a gift to everyone that I meet and come across. And that for sure as fuck has not been true for virtually all of my life. And I really do truly mean that. With no judgment, just like a factual statement. But since last December? Jesus Christ, I can't remember anything. About a year ago. Everything has just been completely different. And it's all been about surrender. To completely give up the notion of me, this avatar, this persona of Matthew Haney, the salesman, the drummer, the whatever, pick a thing, and instead almost cast myself into the fire or into the lava to try and expose that which can't be destroyed and see like what the fuck is really there. And that's been sort of the journey for the last year. So anyway, so I'm sitting there hearing that, and it just bowled me over. I mean, it was because for a couple of reasons. Number one is I'm now vulnerable enough, just generally speaking, to, I guess, tune into when people are being completely honest. And I can tell she was being completely honest. And so that left me open to completely receiving everything she was sending. And then she, as a being, as a spiritual being, is just very powerful. And I don't think she gives herself enough credit. Maybe, I think she knows inherently, but like, her mind is probably blunting her to the truth of how much she controls. Anyway, I mean, that she sent it to me as a gift, with intention, with like a huge surge of energy, and I received it with everything that it was intended. And to take that and then to be able to go into the tank was a gift that I'll never be able to repay, and I'll never be able to explain. And I'm just glad I'm able to journal now, because I absolutely won't have remembered it by tomorrow. But I get into the tank and I, do my normal settling in. And at some point, I can feel myself requiring some motion, which is not atypical. And I find myself with my arms at some point eventually like wrapped around me, like around myself with like my hands up here. And I definitely can't remember the order of everything. It was quite transcendental. But basically, the energy from her saying that gift of that, I transmuted into, in each of my hands, feminine energy and masculine on the other. And I waved them like wands over my body. And I could feel... First, at this point, I've been... I forgot to mention that as soon as I got into the changing room, I just cried torrentially for like 5 minutes, probably. Because it just felt... Just the beauty of the experience was just overwhelming. And I was probably releasing a bunch of stuff, too, for all I know. Anyway, so now I'm in the tank, and I'm doing this stuff. And the whole time that I'm doing it, I am either crying or hyperventilating or what have you. And one of the things that I realized is that there's certain areas of my abdomen where if I try and do a sit-up at a certain angle, I would like shake. And I used to get really pissed about it because I felt like it made me look like I was really weak. And what I came to realize by just sitting there and paying attention, just like not judging it, witnessing it, I saw that it was actually a feature. It was like a trap release for the energy stuck there. The vibration was there to help shake it out. And instead of stuffing it back down with the rage of why the fuck is it my body doing this and embarrassing me, instead it just let it out. Anyway, this is a ridiculously non-linear story. Sorry. And as I'm washing, my hands over my body, and if you're not familiar with these float tanks, they are, 1,000 pounds of salt in the tub. And so one of the things that I realized when I was there, because I could see between when I was laying down and then right after I kept doing what I'm talking about, sitting up, and I could feel it was still working, but it was like a tenth as good. And so that made me realize that there's real fucking power in salt water, and that's why the ocean and like whales and how they communicate via sonar and shit. There's something about the connection between salt water and the energy that I'm talking about inside of us. It's a crazy conduit in the same way that salt water is a crazy conduit for electricity. Man, there's so much to unpack there. Anyway, so as I'm running, one hand over, I'm not seeing per se, because I really still can't see under any of these conditions. But I'm like, it's like re-experiencing, I guess. I don't know. It's really hard to describe. And it's just like coming out like a volcano. And so I can feel themes. And so I could feel like going back to, like I could feel like there was an area that was all about shame that I had felt about girlfriends. Whether because I said something stupid or I did something or I didn't do something or whatever the fuck. And I could feel like going all the way back to like really early days. And I could just like see quote unquote. I could feel flashes of, that would tell me like, oh, I'm at this period with this person, whatever. And then it was a really interesting experience because as I'm going on, like with one hand, I would start to feel like running out of energy, running out of juice. And I could go back to Julie, and Julie is such the perfect, like, I don't know what the word is, but she's the perfect yin yang of masculine, feminine. And so I could go back to the well of what she said and the gift and all of the energy coming from that, refuel, and just keep going. And as I'm like farther away and I'm like at the extremities of my body, or I'm at the extremities of my mind, like I'm really back in time, then I could use, it's very bizarre, I don't know how to explain any of this fucking shit, but I use like a tether of loving feminine energy throughout my life to like almost like walk it in the dark, to go to Meg, to go to Glow, to go to Angie, to go to Ange Keniston, who I had a good cry about as part of this, you know, and just keep going back to my grandmother, to my mom, you know, just, it was crazy, and just keep going and going. And then switching hands to the other side, same thing. And I didn't get, there's just so much more there, from the stuck masculine side because of my dad, and just how that whole relationship unfolded. And so I didn't get as far, quote unquote, right? Like, it's like, what the, like it's a fucking measuring contest or something. But at no point did I feel like panicked, like, oh, if I don't finish this, I'll never get back to it. Because I think if I had allowed at any point at all for any amount of anxiety at all to insert itself, it would have shut the whole thing off. And so it was by the timeless nature of it that allowed me to do so much in so little. Like, I can't explain to you how light I feel right now, and how loose, and how, and I saw, like, I don't know, knew that the last year and everything that I've been doing about making my shoulders more flexible and all this stuff was so that my hands, I was using my hands and going like all the way around my back and down and over here. And it was all of the work I've done, all the flexibility stuff was so that today, under these circumstances, I would be able to use my hands on my whole body to take advantage of the gift that Julie gave me. And I know how fucking nuts that has to sound to virtually everybody watching this, assuming that anyone does. But that's my lived experience, so fuck it. It is what it is. And I've said this to my closest friends as I've been on this journey, as we've been on this journey together the last year. It doesn't matter how much of what I'm saying is completely a figment of my imagination, is completely steeped in truth, is produced by somebody inserting lines of code in a simulation. It doesn't matter, because it's working. That's it. Everywhere I go, everything I see is going better, because I am giving up on trying to be me, to caring about this ego of Matt Haney. And the more I give up the shell that I occupy to do the work of whatever the fuck this meta consciousness is trying to do, and for me to be the hands of it, the more it's just like blessings fall out of the fucking sky. So it It literally doesn't matter to me. Why? Why do I care? It doesn't matter. Everywhere I go, I get to be more in love with everything that's happening. And all I see in response to that is people feeling loved and then taking that and loving more people. So what the fuck would I have wrong with it? I'm just going to keep fucking doing it. The end. Anyway, so that's my Sunday. Yeah. So I'm probably going to start doing these again, because I don't really get to put down my experience very much. And I think I probably give myself too much, like way too much credit for being able to recall things later. So anywho, great chat. See you out there. Much love.